Hello and welcome to this episode of the We Talk Talent series, especially curated by the Economic Times HR World, where we unveil the latest trends surrounding the human capital management space. And I'm very delighted to welcome today's guest with us, Mr. Shantanu Bhattacharya, Vice President HR at Grab. He has been in the corporate industries for over 20 years and has a long, enriched experience in human resource with various global MNCs and Indian conglomerates. Shantanu has acquired specific skills and competencies in HR with exposure into building the right culture, managing performance, engagement, capability development, leadership development and coaching, leadership hiring, and talent management. He deals with strategic HR intervention to support business growth. Welcome, Shantanu.
Hi. Very good morning, Priya, and thanks for having me here. Great platform, and nice to interact with you all.
Sure, Shantanu, pleasure is all ours. So, without any further ado, I would straight jump into my first question and ask you to share a brief overview of the disruption and transformation taking place in the industry. Since we have been seeing the changing times and with your kind of vast experience in the industry, if you can share some about those.
I think very interesting times ahead of us. A couple of things that I'd like to mention when you talk about overview of disruption and transformation. So basically, what has been some of the challenges that we're facing in the industry, and how do we sort of overcome those challenges as a team, as an organization. So I think the first one would be managing gig economy, right? So gig workers, right? So we have fleets. Organizations sort of want to operate as an asset light company and not an asset heavy company, because that will give your margins, that will give your that will reduce the liability and focus on profitability as an organization. And so how do we create balance between an asset heavy and asset light operating model? So that's one of the major aspects that I'm sure different organizations into similar space are fighting their battles with. Second, major aspect would be sourcing good manpower. So we are a manpower intensive industry. We are into services sector. So as an industry, as an organization, how do we ensure that manpower supply is seamless for the delivery rider? Because the delivery rider as a commodity is on a very high speed demand. Okay, so how do we ensure that we keep getting this manpower supply on our regular intervals? Churn is a very big issue that we all are combating and fighting with. But we do rigorous and regular training programs for riders, covering topics like defensive driving techniques, grooming, tech payment handling, how to do that. We have vaccination drives, we have health insurance, we have daily payouts, flexible working hours, grievance redressal cells. So the idea is to keep sort of engaging them and protect their interest also. Okay. The third angle, the third disruption that I would want to mention is managing fleet and drive performance for gig workers, the blue collar workforce, right? The number is huge. I mean, as we speak, we are 1 lakh plus fleet already. The differentiator is payout. Okay, and how do we ensure that we reward them substantially and keep them engaged? Grab transformed by maintaining a balance between what rider is getting paid and the positive unit economics, from a business point of view. There's a war of as such in the industry, in the similar space, where people talk about minimum guarantee schemes and the variable pay model, right? So how do you balance it out, and how do you ensure that we are economically positive, from a business perspective, maintaining the interest of the riders, of course. So that's about managing fleet and driving performance to them. The next one would be more to do with the customer experience versus delivery experience. So the customer experience is, touching customer, how he or she felt while receiving the package. And of course, the delivery experience is from a rider's perspective, that, what has been their experience. Because see, it's a both-way process. It's not a one-way traffic, right? So I think training is essential. Awareness of the business model is extremely important from a rider's perspective. So constantly creating that awareness, awareness about how to use tech more effectively, better. Because this business is definitely supported by tech, and you cannot stand alone without tech being there. So tech is a huge support and support system. The inculcating the right soft skills, that's very, very important, that you are training, coaching them on the right soft skills. And of course, ultimately, that how from a service mindset perspective, how do you handle customer handling, how smooth it can be. So I think these are some of the aspects that we would sort of focus as an organization. As an organization, Grab is contributing to the overall growth of the youth, if I may say so, right? So because we're engaging constantly with a young gig workers, creating more jobs, for them. Over a period of time, we have to understand that rider and delivery boy mindset is also changing from a society and industry perspective, and that's a very big change that we have sort of seen in the last couple of years, right? um, I think acceptability of the job has increased socially much more higher now, compared to what it was probably 5 or 7 years back. Grab is also giving them insurance and taking care of their health. So I think, from a fulfillment perspective, that's a great go for them to look at such opportunities and exploring and be a part of the business. So creating job opportunities and empowerment is the seventh lever that I would say that we sort of constantly focus in terms of transformation journey.
Thank you, Shantanu. Some great points shared there, and as how you mentioned, the times has changed so much, and the tech intervention has been the biggest disruption in across industries. So, with that, I would like to ask you, how do you redefine your employer brands to attract the hybrid talent in the virtual context?
So typically, Priya, during pandemic times, the order volumes went phenomenally up. Okay, and it got increased like hell, right? And it also gave a source of income for countless people during that time frame for their survival. A lot of delivery riders are even graduates. I mean, you won't believe that a lot of delivery riders are even graduates. There are a couple of them are even engineers. So typically a new job, or at a starting level, they would probably end up getting a 15, 20, 22,000 salary. Whereas a job like this would give them an ability to make it up to 35, 40,000 also, which is commensurately high, and if they are able to make even incentives, right? So I think that created a value proposition for them overall. And see, the idea is to create more and more constant repeated communication, repeat marketing. We do campaigns like SMS and WhatsApp blast, attracting talent, engaging with those who may or may not even know that such opportunities exist. And just with a simple click of link, they can just put in their very, very basic details, and we and our backend team sort of pick it up from there, and we start engaging with them and getting them on board through a process which helps to also we do a very detailed background verification process, so that the intake is cannot be questioned by anyone. So we do those checks. Our robust tech integration allows instant onboarding, and in just about 120 odd seconds, right? So once a rider downloads the Grab app, he or she can upload his their documents and details, and KYC verification and training is provided, and they can start their delivery orders. So that's really how the ecosystem sort of works here in terms of the talent and engagement.
Yeah, very rightly mentioned, Shantanu. I think so. I feel actually the easiest you can apply for a job, there is high chances that you are attracted to that brand. So with that,
Yes.
since you also mentioned about how gig economy is on boom, so with that, I would like to ask you, what's your take in more detailed form about the gig economy, and how mature do you think the organization are in India to capitalize on gig economy?
Most of us, we are ignorant about the fact that world's one of the largest logistics last mile company is a Chinese organization having a fleet of uh, 4 million, so 40 lakhs approximately, which is a company named as Meituan Daiping, right? So it's a Chinese shopping platform for locally found consumers products and retail services. Okay. um, See, the problem between us and China are pretty similar in terms of population explosion and unemployment issues, right? So jobs are limited, seekers are more, right? So how do we sort of create a balance, right? Maturity is still on an evolution phase stage, I would say. In That's the way I look at it. As far as India is concerned, a lot of things are happening. It's still an unorganized sector, which is getting organized. As we speak, very very fast changing environment. This is definitely helping the economy to create jobs, to create employment, engage with the youth. And I'm sure we all have heard about the strategic changes on the labor codes, right? So which are going to get implemented sooner as we speak. There was a confusion on 1st of July, but regardless of that date, those labor code changes are going to get implemented, and I think the government and the nation is taking it up very very seriously. And there are lots to do, and think about how things would probably seemingly look 5 years from now. The landscape is going to completely get changed, right? So that's about how I feel the gig economy, and how organization in India are going to go uh, for it very very structured approach.
Yeah, I totally agree with your point about how the landscape is going to change, since the younger generation coming into workforce is also giving a lot of preference to gig working, since they want the flexibility that gigs provide.
Yeah, and not only but you see, retaining them is also a key. So the riders at Grab are really the backbone, and employees are our asset, right? So we ensure we keep them happy. Our organization values are imbibed around them with respect, growth, collaboration, and ultimately an entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah, totally. So with that, I would like to ask you my last question about the biggest challenge you are facing in talent acquisition space, and how do you plan to overcome those?
Problems are pretty much common if you look at this space or most of the other spaces. Changing skill sets are something that people are sort of fighting with. um, Availability of talent is definitely a very very big issue. I think as an organization we need to build very robust sourcing strategy, and constantly improvise on our ability to attract talent. And there are a plethora of things that you can do as an organization, right from creating a brand pull to articulating the employer value proposition, and the mission vision values, and how do you typically imbibe those mission vision values statements and value descriptors into the performance management system, and while we drive performance across the organization. How do we also sort of engage with them as an organization, right? The employee engagement bit, how do you strategize that, especially the post pandemic eras, right? So we have practices like quarterly rewards and recognition for riders basis certain metrics, of course. We have activities with environmental health and safety aspects, like Helmets for riders is compulsory. There are birthday bashes, outing at a hub level, right, local level. There has to be established between strong connect between the supervisors and the riders, right? Um, Grab spends a very decent budget on engagement initiatives throughout the year. Riders training on road safety. I mentioned defensive rider techniques earlier. So some of these things are being adopted. Post-pandemic, the positive change for Grab is in terms of the work from home culture, hybrid model, people ordering and mind you, see from a business perspective, people ordering things from outside. It's a mindset change, right? 10 years back, we won't be comfortable shopping without a tangible touch and feel factor, right? So people today, that mindset has changed and is changing very, very faster, right? So I think people are adopting to some of these changes and mindsets, which obviously increases business and orders for us. And of course, parallelly, the manpower requirements, resulting in creating more jobs for the economy. So I think talent acquisitions space will always remain challenged. There's so much to do as to understand what's happening in the competition space. There's so much to understand that, how do I optimally do a proactive reskilling, upskilling? How do I do a drive engagement? How do I do identify critical roles within the organization? How do I do talent mapping? If not 1:2, at least a 1:1 succession plan for the key positions that are there, who are drivers of the business. And of course, at the end of the day, creating a greater objective and cascading our actions towards achieving that objective as an organization, across function. We need to speak one language. We need to understand, where is the organization moving in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months time. So I think that clarity, getting that clarity, is very, very important. With of course, with remote learning and COVID, work and life has got integrated, right? So the mental health, the work-life balance is important. So we ensure to make things happen. Bond beyond work, and strong, harmonious, happy culture is cultivated consciously within the organization at Grab.
Thank you, Shantanu. Those are some great initiatives that you guys are taking for your employees. With that, we will wrap up this episode of We Talk Talent. Thank you so much, Shantanu, for being here with us today.
Thank you so much, Priya. Thanks to you and your team, and providing us an opportunity to showcase what's happening in the industry and within the organization. Love to keep in touch. Thank you so much. All the very best.
Thank you.